So, good morning, everyone. In fact, my friend, by mistake, he told me that I'm going to present something else. But this is skill development initiatives to employability. This is my topic, which I had to do yesterday. For want of time, I was in fact suggested to do it in the morning today. So, I'm not going to take much of your time, but still, I promise you that I would concentrate on my topic, that is skill development initiatives to boost employability. See, Mahatma Gandhi said, the real system of education is one where the children of rich and poor, king and subject, receive education through crafts. Now we'll just have a quick look at the present scenario. Over 3 million graduates are added to the workforce every year in India, and a good number of opportunities in both public and private sectors. See, there was a time when people used to say that the opportunities are very rare, and the skill force is more. Now, in the past, as different from the past, in the present scenario, a very good number of people are in fact looking for opportunities, and opportunities are in ample, both in public and private sectors. And again, 100 million job opportunities are expected in construction and automotive industry by 2020. But the problem is we don't have enough sufficient skilled hands, so we have lack of skilled hands. In the 70s and 80s, things were different, the position was different. Immense talents were available during those times, but opportunities were less, which ultimately resulted in brain drain. Very young people, qualified and skilled people, they used to go to America, UK and all other Western countries who used to promise them very good salary and all. And when we speak about skill shortages, there are two kinds of skill shortages. One is non-availability of graduates in the high-growth sector. Graduates are there still, but the skilled graduates are not available. And if at all they are available, the available ones are not available. Now, a recent interview which was conducted in Kerala, this particular multinational company wanted to have about 2,000 skilled hands. They conducted an interview both in Trivandrum and in Bangalore. At the very first hour itself, they just wound up their program and left in Delhi, telling that only 2% of the candidates turned up were employable. The rest of them were not employed. That is the state of affairs in the recent scenario. Now we'll just have a look on to the basic reasons behind this, why they are so. And when I speak about the poor skill in English language, I would like to say, see, a skill is something very much acquired. Everybody or anybody can acquire any skills with the drilling and practice. Whereas it doesn't have anything to do with the IQ or intelligence. Even a student who gets 0 marks in mathematics can learn a language within 1 or 2 months. If he is put in Bombay, he can learn the language of Hindi within 2 months. He speaks very well. If he is put in America or maybe in UK, he can learn English or speaking English within maybe in a duration of 2 or 3 months. So there is it. So skill is something which can be acquired by drilling. Cycling is a skill. Typewriting is a skill. Children walking is a skill. So there are a lot of skills. Likewise, language is also a skill which can be acquired by giving drilling and practice. That's why we suggest that language labs and other skilled training should be given to students. And our candidates are poor in computer proficiency because India lives in villages. Poor people are living in villages, and how can we expect the parents of poor children to buy or purchase a computer which costs more than 30,000 rupees? So we cannot expect all the people living in rural areas to be proficient in computer application or computer use. And again, lack of soft skills also is there. There are so many other reasons, and less important of them. See, other reasons, outdated curriculum. This is not less important, because our curriculum has been framed in the past, which has been churned up, and which were in fact unusable by their overuse. And lack of work skills, I have already mentioned about that. And curriculums in many of the universities have been reviewed only once in 5 years. But in our university, Dr. Salam is also there. We used to do it once in 3 years at least. And this is one of the reasons. And again, we have faculties, of course. And these faculties, those faculties who are teaching in the universities, they are, in fact, they work without work experience. They don't have the work experience to work with. And next, even the trained ones lack work experience. If at all they are trained, maybe a graduate engineer or maybe a professional doctor, they are not able to impart what they are expected for. And again, ignores the trends and technology in automation. This is another reality. See, even those people who knows that things are happening like this around them, they are not ready to accept it. They ignore it simply because they don't want to take up any risk at all. So they ignore it. And why this happened in India? We'll just look on to the background of Indian societies, the parents of India. Basically, many of them, not many of them, most of them, are very conventional and orthodox. They opt for conventional education. Nobody wants their children to be called as skilled people. Because skill, as I told you, is something which is not related to IQ. It is related to hands. And they don't want their children to be less respected in the society. So they want their children to be maybe white-collar people with white-collar jobs. They want their children to be sahibs. When they go for a marriage or a function, these children or these candidates or the children would be more respected if they are not skilled laborers. So they opt for conventional education other than skilled education. And again, vocationally trained ones are not accepted in the society. Again, the same thing, just the opposite of what I have said before. And let's glance to a few of these solutions which I have present here. See, first of all, we need to create awareness among the youth and the parents. This awareness could be made in so many ways. The government can take up the responsibility of giving awareness to the parents, and the universities also can do it, and other social organizations also can do it. And again, a novel idea which I have to impart is something like the introduction of graduate degree in skill. For example, BA, BSc, these are all conventional degrees. And we can introduce along with them, after modifying the curriculum, skill education also along with them. We have to set apart maybe hours or periods of time for this particular training of skills along with the other curriculum, other syllabus. And again, thinking and doing must be made the watchwords. Thinking, as I told you, it is something related to IQ, and doing is related to hands. So all these things should be done simultaneously. So thinking and doing. And see how this skill formation is done or have been done in the past. Basically, skill formation have been done through family occupations. Maybe a carpenter, maybe something else. Even the doctors, they simply send their children to medical college, doctors. So this skill development is done through family occupations. Engineers, they send their children for. Unfortunately, the Vice Chancellor may not be able to send their children to be Vice Chancellors because it's a very rare post. Right? And apprenticeship, you can be skilled only if you are given apprentice by maybe a master or a master craftsman. And again, this is also given along with the on-job training. And again, master craftsman training. And the real challenges before us. See, if you are honest in your speech or maybe your urge to give skills to the people, first of all, you have to look into the private section of the society. Who are they? The SC/ST people, the tribal people, the underprivileged people, all these people. So we need to commence the skill development right from the bottom. Then only the real thing would come to the fore. And again, provide them with direct incentives. If you are looking up at the SC/ST people and OBC people and other underprivileged people, your speech would not do. You need to pump in money, direct incentives to these people, to these SC/ST people. Give them, award them, grant them money. Even sometimes, money will not be sufficient for them to attend interviews or to attend the place of their skill and training. So give them money. So that is the only way. And again, technical aspects combined with innovation. Ask them to go for innovations. See, people are doing research only for the sake of research. So they should be asked to go on for research with innovation in their minds, because we have been using the fruits of the researches of our Bible people. I am using this mic, this has been invented by somebody else, and I am using it, I am enjoying it, just like that. What are the inventions, what are the innovations that are being carried out right now in this present scenario? We have been enjoying all the inventions of the past, and are we? Just put your hands on your chest and think whether we are doing something very original to the contemporary society. And when we speak about all these things, we have to look into the weaknesses of society or weaknesses of the system. Private players. Now, I just want to mention about the private players, private people or private entrepreneurs. They are profit-minded. Private people are always coming into the field of business to make profit. They are money-minded. We cannot blame them for that. So they are profit-minded, and even though they are profit-minded, they are very cunning and very, very, very intelligent. So that what they do is they just give curriculum, they just give programs to the society which are demanded by the society, or those programs which are in great demand in the society are introduced by them. So they succeed. They succeed in the market to attract people to their universities or their institutions. And again, these people, they take advantage of policy paralysis of government-aided universities. Now, we all know, because I'm working in a state-funded university. It's a general university, it's a Calicut university. The first one is Kannur, then comes Calicut, then comes Gandhi, then Trivandrum, Kerala University. We have got 4 conventional universities. And these universities are, in fact, we have our own weaknesses. Like, we are bound to depend the government for each and everything, because we are mainly funded by the government. So we have to go by the stipulations of the government, and our hands are tied up. And when these restraints are there, these private universities are making use of them. They just utilize it. So they come up. So they are able to attract more students to their universities. And again, tend to neglect fundamental forms of education systems, as they are not revenue generators. These government-funded universities are not interested to go for to improve the present available courses, because they are not revenue generators. The need of the day. In the placing setup of new institution, we need to focus on faculty development. Now, it's a truth that we can introduce or begin or commence new courses and programs and all those things. But in the place of introducing new universities, what we can do is we can give skill development or skill to those faculties who are already available. We have to mend them, we have to correct them, we have to make them more skillful and skilled, and encourage research, right? And again, infrastructure building will go a long way in doing that. And we need to go for innovations which are demand-driven. And again, readily available entrepreneurs, managers, and engineers. We can prepare these people, otherwise the society will not be benefited. And technology-driven incubation centers. The government of Kerala recently has introduced startup villages in each and every university. What they do is, they just give the students encouragement and training to find out their own future life by giving them incentives, by giving them grace marks, attendance and everything. So what we do is we just make them entrepreneurs, to make them enable them to stand on their own legs, so that when they finish or complete their degree, they'll be able to, they are not going to search for jobs because they have already found out their way of life. So what they do is they start their own business. And financial autonomy is another important thing that we depend upon. Now I just put up a few suggestions to build the bridge between these two things, like tie-ups between universities and skill institutes and ITIs. Every university. Now I'm not asking other universities because our university ourselves can do it. So what we should do is we should have tie-ups between universities in India and abroad. We are doing it with the German universities. So we can proceed with the more universities with the tie-ups. And flexibilities in fees. Now, when we fix fees for certain programs and courses in our universities, we are not able to change it. When the syndicate changes it, resistance comes from student unions. What they do is they grab the VCs and our constitutional people. And we are not able to even make a very, very simple or very minute modification in the fees. So we need to make modifications and flexibilities in fees, curriculums and programs. And again, offer joint certificates for degrees and diplomas. Now, in connection with this, we can just make ties with other universities to distribute degrees and diplomas, or diplomas jointly. And again, revamping programs as per the needs of the market. And again, this goes on like this, teachers be given training, tie-ups with the governments and other organizations, linkages with industries, intervention of National Skill Development Corporation. We know that Government of India has formed National Skill Development Corporation. So let them take the initiative leadership so that this skill development could be made by them. Now a few more proposals are there. See, optimal use of university infrastructures, teaching and training after 5 p.m. We know that many of the institutions and universities, they just close their doors after 5 p.m. Why don't we utilize the same infrastructure even during night hours? Because there are working people, for them we can offer classes or programs so that they can utilize the available service of the infrastructure. Training in communication skills, that could be done. Linking with industries, I have already mentioned it. Starting of career-oriented programs. Strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. I just make it an abbreviated form like SWOT analysis. And students be made creator of jobs rather than seekers of jobs. Now, just after their education, after their graduation, what they do is they just keep their certificates with them and visit all the private and government firms where they can find employment. Instead of that, they should be giver or distributors of jobs or creator of jobs instead of seeking jobs. And again, universities could sign MOUs with these